So just to get started, we've done a lot of like preview about your show already, and we've talked a lot about plot. But what I want to know is what it was like on set for you guys. Like, do you feel like it's a short season? Did you feel like you were able to like build like close bonds with the cast in just like a 6-episode shoot?
No.
Nobody likes each other. But bonding on set, what was that like? Do you feel you became a tight-knit group?
When we were working, it was very intense. So I kind of had a lot of time together. I mean, particularly because we were shooting nights, a lot of it, vampire hours, you kind of knuckle down and you do feel that sense of like a bond. But then when we finished, we're cooked. So it's like a lot of us taking a sleep, taking a snooze. I know you swam a lot, Fickner.
Manchester Aquatic Center.
I swear, they're going to be so happy you're giving them such
I was always available during the day.
That's a big plug.
You were a frequent flyer there.
Yeah,
I was.
Yeah, and actors are frequently asked how they establish like chemistry with each other and stuff, but it's really just your job to like make that happen, right? But was this a cast where that felt easy to do?
Yeah, it was easy. Particularly with Jasper, who was a fierce character in the show.
Well, you think about it. I mean, you have so much to do with Celine.
Right.
So you have this, and with Elizabeth as well. I spent a lot of time in the mother house with Johnny.
With Johnny, yeah.
And this incredible actor from London. How do you pronounce his last name? Aris?
Aris, yeah.
Aris,
Johnny
yeah, Johnny. Yeah. So I literally, besides you, I spent all my time with him.
And Checkers.
And Checkers, yeah.
Of course.
Big Bill.
Big Bill Brown. But I think we established something quite nice because I think there's a weird friendship, brotherly, like there's a gnarly element to it that I find brings them together.
You know, people always say, oh, we had a most wonderful cast, they all got along. The truth of the matter is, I think we shot in Manchester, England. Nobody in our cast, with a couple of minor exceptions, was from Manchester. So everybody was coming in, so we were all, in effect, strangers or foreigners. And so we bonded together, sort of beginning to understand the city and which hotel and restaurants or whatever. And as I say, it was American, British, a little bit of everything, Australian, and it was it's just the confluence of all of these people at this particular time in a relatively strange place that everybody somehow made the most of it together.
Yeah, you gotta like band together for this weird experience, right?
Yeah.
You do.
As you mentioned, there's like something going on between Jasper and Guy. There's like this push and pull relationship they have. They like each other, but the trust is fickle with them. Beyond their shared enemies, what do you guys think attracts them to each other?
I think like most of the characters that they're all kind of, I mean, even with Guy and Helen or Guy and Olive or Doris, or you have this sense of a soul, an emotional kind of feeling that all of those characters are particularly well written, allow for. Because Guy's going in there, he's learning a lot about them and in turn feeling a lot for them, but he's not really sure if he can trust them. And I think that's why there is this weird push and pull, because he wants to be involved with them, but he knows that there is something that's blocking him. He's a skeptic, and there's something that's blocking him from forming a strong relationship because he's been damned so many times, it seems.
Yeah, and so quickly in the short span of meeting all of these people at the Talamasca too. So
Well, you just don't know who you can trust.
Right.
And I think that's a nice thing for an audience, because you're constantly trying to listen, trying to investigate, trying to kind of do what the Talamasca does. Listen and figure out what's the right path to choose.
Yeah. And for Jasper, he seems genuinely like interested in Guy in terms of like how they could work together, right? What do you think is the appeal for him?
I think Jasper's in this story for things that he wants in his life at this point right now, and someone comes along that is a very interesting character. And there are things that the character of Guy could really help him out with. I think Jasper genuinely likes him.
Yeah.
That warms my soul.
Until maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, some stuff happens.
I think so.
And John, Helen is this mysterious figure, but she puts out an air of trustworthiness. Can you give a sense of just how trustworthy she really is?
That's a really good question. I think it depends on the day. I think it depends on what her motive is for the discussion she's having. I think she is a child of the Talamasca, and she is essentially married to it. So she understands that some things you have to do might not include telling the entire truth. She's the person that tells half-truths. I think that we're aided greatly by the fact that Elizabeth McGovern plays Helen, because not only is she an amazing actress, she's made a career of being a very trustworthy person. She's the cool woman who you can trust. And she also has a very strong maternal instinct that's just in her face. And so when you see the maternal instinct in her face and you hear the words, you want to believe. And then when you find out that sometimes they're not true, I think it's, I don't know, it just makes her really complicated.
Yeah, she's got that like soft, like Cora Crawley smile. When I see her in the show, I'm like, I just trust her immediately because of the Downton Abbey of it all. And I'm like, wait, she's mysterious. I can't. So I've got to ask. There's a moment in a teaser that you put out recently where there appears to be like a page from Blood and Gold, from Vampire Chronicles. In there, it mentions like Amadeo, Pandora, and everything. And it's a page from like Marius's writing, right? And so I'm just like curious, like, are these like autobiographical novels like in the books and stuff? Are they meant to be canon in the show? Like, what's that page about? Are they like in the Talamasca archives?
It is for, we were burning them.
Right.
Correct. And we were on set burning different things and looking through lots of stuff, and we thought, what is the most kind of provocative and perhaps gives insight and perhaps doesn't, and what is the most mysterious? And we chose that. It may have just been because it burned better. I don't know.
It really intrigued me. It caught my attention. So what kind of personal stamp did you want to put on the vampires in this show?
I wanted, I don't know. I mean, Anne Rice humanizes vampires, as Marcus said many times and correctly, and that's kind of my attachment level to writing and creating vampires. Is they get lonely, they get sad, they have to operate in the shadows, they deal probably in a paranoid world a little bit. And so because of that, I wanted, with her saying you can humanize them, you can make them whoever you want. We have two very different vampires in the first episode, and I didn't want them to fall into any kind of trope. I didn't think that every vampire had to be a count or a countess or somebody rich or fancy or in the caste system way up top, which we've seen a lot of, and I wanted to have more of a middle-class vampire who's pissed off and who has some things to say and do. And so I thought that would be a fun way to expose a different kind of vampire.
Yeah, it is really fun. And tell me more about this middle-class pissed-off vampire.
Well, I was in Manchester, so that fueled me because it got dark at 3:30, and then it was dark until 8:30 in the morning. It just was, what a joy. What a joy, because I had a tremendous amount of freedom, but when something's written and it's really good, it's the roadmap to explore. And that was always part of it for Talamasca and John and Mark and the whole writing team. And so I just had a lot of fun imagining and seeing the different places that they wanted to go, but also, finding this guy, like John said, that one of the first times we actually see Jasper, he's barefoot with a t-shirt on, listening to Southern rock. So kind of a whole other thing. Typecasting, come on, let's just call it the way it is. Let's just call it. Vampire. And he's a Bills fan. I mean, go figure that one, right?
Come on, all the material's there, yeah.
All right.
And we talked about the trustworthiness of these characters. When it comes to Doris and Olive, friend or foe for Guy?
Friend until they're not. Like, it all starts from a place of like, I want to trust you, I want to be there, and it fluctuates. I think also that trust builds a lot, and you can, the trust does build, but also it's some of those characters it's totally taken away.
Yeah, and we have Justin Kirk in this season as well.
Right.
How fun was it to have Raglan James in this for a spell?
I describe him sometimes as like the slipperiest fish I've ever got a hold of, because he's so elusive, and that character is just a complete quagmire, such a mystery to me. But I really I think Justin is amazing, and I really love Raglan in a way where I think Guy has a very different opinion of him, and you'll see that in the episode, but I just think he's such an interesting character and such massive, bold choices that Justin makes with Raglan that I think he's so funny. And it's great to have that as a member of the Talamasca, because it's just so unique.
Yeah, it's really interesting to have him, this character who hasn't really like become like a main character yet, might become one in the future and everything. It's cool to see him like sprinkled throughout and see like the wild choices that the actor makes of them. Yeah.
It must be such a nice thing for audience members to see that and see how the crossovers really can work. They work in a way which feels necessary for each world, not just put in there for no good reason, just for kind of, clickbait or whatever. It's like, no, he's really essential to this part of the story and really important for Guy's, relationship with the Talamasca. So I think it's really great that he's involved in this, as Daniel Malloy as well.
Yeah, and all the crossovers in this have been very intentional and mindful so far, I think. But I wonder, with Eric Bogosian's cameo in the first episode, how much does that scene with Malloy impact Vampire Lestat, if at all?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Not at all. He's a significant character again in the Vampire Lestat, and we feel that he came straight from having published Interview with the Vampire into the first season, first episode of Talamasca.
Yeah, it's cool for these characters to be able to like do like a warm up and test out before they do their longer seasons, right? But yeah, when it comes to the spy nature of all of this and everything, you were talking a lot at San Diego Comic-Con about balancing like spy or blending spy genre with supernatural. Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to be the most like thrilling part of that for viewers? Because it is not something, as you said before, that we see very often.
Well, I think the two genres have a lot more in common once the closer you look. I mean, we said the shadows, the lies, who do you trust, the loneliness. So I think, I wasn't so sure right from jump that they would blend that well, but I enjoyed writing it to that. I thought these are kind of natural, peanut butter and chocolate, who knew, kind of thing. And so I enjoyed every bit of it, and it wasn't like anything I was writing, oh, well, this is spy and the next scene is supernatural. It just felt like all the same dark, weird, cool world.
Yeah, for sure. And then we have Jason Schwartzman in the first episode as well, who's a really fun vampire named Burton. Mm-hmm. So Guy is thrown into this world really quickly and just has to kind of accept the fact that these supernatural creatures exist. What do you think it is about him that makes that easy for him to believe?
Well, difficult for him to believe in a way, because when we first meet Burton, it looks like smoke and mirrors. Like the different kind of the things that he's doing, the TVs on the wall, the kind of look, the outfit, all of it feels like it's out of a magic shop. But I think the true nature of his vampiric things that he does, they really start to make Guy question what he's actually seeing. And it's really smart to have Jason in that role, because we kind of know him sometimes from some of his performances that are kind of like quite big, and it fits in with Burton. But the real the crux of his character and the grittiness of what happens in that sequence in Burton's apartment really comes to, it really scares the hell out of Guy, because those things he's never seen before. And as soon as you'll see in the first episode, he's in a very, very sticky situation, and Burton's standing in front of him. The truth is very much in his face. And so it was, and I love working with Jason. I mean, I'm a huge fan, and just was such a dream for those days.
Really fun to have him in this, yeah. And Guy, of course, has like a bit of an ability himself. Are you allowed to talk about what that is, or give a sense of what it is? What can he do?
I think, well, he's a mind reader, but I think for a long time he's thought of that as being some mental illness. And so when I spoke to John and Lafferty about that particular quality, we wanted to make it a very grounded, truthful feeling for Guy. So when we first meet him, he hasn't actually realized that potential yet. He still thinks that he's medicating himself quite seriously for this, but it's all wrong. And as soon as Helen tells him that what he actually is, and that his entire life has been a lie, he starts to go, oh, this is something I need to listen to. This is something I need to really think about, and maybe this has a lot to do with my instinct and my ability as a human in this world. So we grounded it in a very pleasant truthfulness, and it was a psychological thing, a very emotional thing, and I'm glad the way it's come across, not like wing.
Yeah, yeah. And with Guy, we have this kind of journey to like self-discovery, and then with Jasper, we have this kind of like search for like justice almost with him. How would you define the arcs for these two characters here for season 1?
Mark Lafferty, my co-showrunner in this, who was not able to be here unfortunately, kind of summed it up very early on when I was writing the first two, and he said it strikes me that this is a season that's about fractured families and bringing them back together if possible. And so I think they certainly share that, these two characters.
Maybe that's what they see in each other a little bit. They maybe don't know that about each other, but sense it.
Well, I'm really looking for a son. I found one. Let's see if we get along.
I think when you get to, what the Talamasca does, getting to know these characters, learning about them, investigating them, you can't help but just understand them. And I think that's what Guy does feel with Jasper, and that's what brings them really close together, and he sees that they're not too different after all.
Yeah, and the Talamasca itself is this, in Mayfair Witches and Interview with the Vampire, Vampire Lestat, it's this not the most trusted organization. Of course, when like the agents within it trusted for the most part, but in this show, are you aiming to make them look more favorable or threatening, do you think?
It depends on the day.
Right.
I mean, they're the CIA, they're MI6, they have a hard job to do, a necessary job to do. Do they do things you might not want to see? Perhaps for the sake of the job, yeah. I just think Mark has talked about Anne Rice writing complicated characters and scenarios, and I think that's the brilliant jump-off point for us, is that we're allowed to go, it's complicated.
Yeah, definitely. A theme in all of her books is like, these are not necessarily great people.
Yeah.
And so you have to like really just pay attention to them and think about the circumstances that they're in from their points of view, everyone thinks they're a good guy, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so how could Guy be a little bad?
How could Guy be a little bad?
Yeah, because on any given day, it's like we said, they're not morally gray, but it's just, they're
but
human and
that's true.
complicated, right?
Humans are complicated. Anne Rice's character is really complicated, and they have to have their own intentions at the forefront for a lot of it. So there's things that he does, particularly as we get further down the season, when he starts to take things into his own hands. He starts to do things that he is listening to himself going, I need this for me. I don't want to be at the behold of this big organization, nor do I want to be at the behold of the vampires and the witches. I want to do this for Guy. And I think when you have nothing to lose and you've lost everything, that makes for a very dangerous personality, and you go into very dangerous circumstances without fear. And you do see that with Guy. He becomes quite fearless, and he grows to learn and to respect himself.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's this clicker that you have in the teasers that we've seen and everything.
I have it right here.
You do? Oh, I believe you. So tell me what you can about what that thing is about. We've seen some, like Revenant-looking vampires in teasers.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much can I say about that? You know what? It's a project of Jasper's. But like all things that happens with Jasper, it's very thought out, and there's a reason why he's playing around with a little something. And he is supernatural, but he's playing around with something that really pushes the envelope in the supernatural world. And but he's got to control things, and his little clicker helps him do that. And it's fun to see it, because listen, when the click goes off,
Things happen.
something's happening.
Yeah.
Run.
Run.
Yeah.
Run is a good thing. A lot of
Yeah.
people run.
Yeah. The garage door doesn't open.
Yeah, and Mark, to wrap up, this show has more humor in it, I think, than there's humor in both of the other shows in the franchise as well, but I think this one has it's cranked the comedy up a little more. Is that something you wanted in the Immortal universe, a little more?
I think it's important. I think, most importantly, I want these shows to be enjoyable, to be fun. And I think that this should scare you. It should. There's romance, and there's hopefully there's humor. There's some good laughs, and a lot comes from this man.
Yeah.
And the laughs that come in this, you know, they come from, all of it comes, it's not joke humor. It's all real. It's based on who these people are and the circumstances that they're in. And, you know, nobody's got to pretend that, you know, everybody's playing their world for straight.
Yeah.
And even in this world, even in this, you know, supernatural universe, it's all real for them. And if it's funny, it's because, you know, we're taking a step into an incredibly insane world.
Yeah.
And we wanted to approach it from a grounded standpoint, you know, from the very start, and what the Talamasca is, and we didn't want it, I don't know, we just wanted it to be very grounded, very real, very dramatic, and, you know, in the real world, sometimes stuff is character funny. I mean, you know, there are situations that you smile at. So we embrace that.
Yeah, sometimes in real life, dark stuff is just darkly funny,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.